I'm Yvonne Yang with news from here in Taiwan and around the world. The United States may require half of all chips made by Taiwanese companies to be produced in the U.S. as part of a broader trade deal. That's according to U.S. Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick, who made comments in a televised interview over the weekend. And to find out what this means for Taiwan, let's head to our reporter Chris Gorin in our Taipei newsroom. Chris, what exactly is Lutnick proposing here?
More chips made in America, Yvonne. That's really the bottom line here. Lutnick really emphasized that this is a matter of national security for the United States and said repeatedly that Taiwan makes 95% of chips, which is not quite right, but Taiwan does make about 90% of the world's most advanced chips. And Lutnick mentioned specific cases such as the chips that are used in U.S. military drones, for example. He says that it's a problem that so many of these inputs come from Taiwan, especially given, as he put it, China has not been shy about wanting to take Taiwan. Now, the U.S. and Taiwan are right now negotiating to lower the 20% tariff on most Taiwanese goods, as well as potential semiconductor tariffs. And Lutnick says that he has made a proposal to Taiwan about chip production. And he says, quote, "The idea that I pitched them was, let's get to 50-50. We're producing half and you're producing half. We're still fundamentally reliant upon you because we can't live without the other half. But if we have half, we have the capacity to do what we need to do if we need to do it." And he goes on to say regarding Taiwan making most of the world's chips, quote, "Donald Trump would say, it's not healthy for you or healthy for us because we protect you. And for us to protect you, you need to help us achieve reasonable self-sufficiency." Now, he's referring to the so-called silicon shield in that second quote there, which is the idea that the international community has an interest in preventing a Chinese attack on Taiwan because it relies so heavily on Taiwan's chips.
So, Chris, does this actually represent a new U.S. policy on trade or Taiwan's security, and would Taiwan accept such a deal?
Well, we did reach out to the White House, which has so far not responded to our request for comment. We also reached out to Taiwan's Office of Trade Negotiations, which has also not yet responded, and today is a national holiday. But the proposal does seem to echo recent reporting that the U.S. is seeking a 1-to-1 domestic-to-import ratio for chips from foreign countries, including Taiwan, and that failure to reach that ratio could result in a 100% tariff. Now, I should also point out that Taiwan's largest chip maker, TSMC, has already made the largest direct investment in the U.S., $165 billion to build chip factories in Arizona. And the firm has previously said that its goal is to get 30% of its 2-nanometer production in the U.S. by the time all the facilities in Arizona are built. Now, that's pretty far from half of all chips. And to get to 50% would require an incredible amount of time and investment. Now, the reporting around this issue does say that the policy is not yet officially announced and that it could still change. And until we do hear from Washington what this policy is, we can't be quite sure how things will turn out. Yvonne?
Thanks for that, Chris. That was Chris Gorin reporting from our Taipei newsroom. Taiwan's Coast Guard says 2 Chinese research vessels illegally entered waters north of Taiwan. The Chinese ships were spotted Sunday afternoon near Pengjia Island off Taiwan's north coast. The Coast Guard deployed several ships to follow and steer the vessels away. Taiwan has reported an increasing number of Chinese ships near its offshore islands, seen as part of China's gray zone tactics. The Coast Guard has condemned the incursion and says it will keep up efforts to safeguard its territory. Taiwan's first domestically built submarine, the Typhoon, will likely continue sea trials this week despite the resignation of its lead advisor. The vessel is set to undergo a 4th navigation test, potentially starting Tuesday. This comes even as Admiral Huang Shuguang steps down from his role as lead advisor, citing family reasons. Shipbuilder CSBC has pledged to keep the project on schedule while maintaining strict safety standards. If the surface trials go well, the Typhoon will move on to shallow water dives, then progressively deeper dives, followed by torpedo launching tests. Taiwan's foreign minister is visiting Poland this week as part of an effort to deepen ties with Europe. Chia-lung will speak at the Warsaw Security Forum. There, he'll emphasize Taiwan's technological development and its ability to help Europe re-industrialize amid U.S.-China competition. On Facebook, Lin said he hopes to demonstrate Taiwan's importance to Europe. Poland and Taiwan do not maintain formal diplomatic relations, and Lin is listed as an expert, not a government official, on the forum's speakers list. He recently wrapped up similar trips to Austria, Italy, and the Czech Republic. Recovery efforts in the wake of Typhoon Ragasa are still underway in the worst-hit parts of the country. As Leslie Liao reports, volunteers have surged into the affected area to help clean up debris, but there are still concerns about the prospects of a timely recovery.
1 week after Typhoon Ragasa slammed into Taiwan, cleanup efforts are still underway in the country. The strongest storm of the year killed at least 18 people, according to authorities. Strong floods surged into Guangfu Township in eastern Taiwan's Hualien County after a lake in the mountains above overflowed from heavy rains. Bulldozers, brooms, and shovels. Volunteers are using anything at their disposal to clear debris from a blocked-off road. Many of them have come from other parts of the country to help out.
我住彰化，可能就车程，因为我昨天光开来这里我就开了8个小时了。
But after long journeys to get here, volunteers face rigorous work and difficult conditions.
雨鞋磨到那个脚，然后破皮，不太能走路。
有蛮大一部分都是外伤，就是各种这个擦挫伤啦、割伤啦，然后甚至有一些人是因为一直不断的铲土之后造成的扭伤。内科的病人大部分都是因为天气太热了，有一些热伤害。
With more volunteers arriving, some are questioning how they're being allocated.
我们现在有几个部落反映，就是我们协助的志工有点偏少，那他们的这个清理速度比较慢。
But time is ticking on the support these volunteers are bringing. Many of them have come over a long holiday weekend to help out, but many will need to return home for work on Tuesday.
到明天才会离开。就整个连假都在这边。对。
There's concern here that once this weekend's volunteers head back home, there won't be enough helping hands needed to dig this town out of the mud and get it back on its feet. But with the military also helping with the recovery efforts, the goal is to have everything cleaned up by the first weekend in October. Hank Xu and Leslie Liao for TaiwanPlus.
A new report suggests China could be seizing on U.S. President Donald Trump's push for a trade deal, pressing Washington to go a step further on Taiwan and openly declaring opposition to Taiwan independence. Ali Lu reports on Beijing's latest bid to isolate Taipei.
According to the Wall Street Journal, ongoing trade talks between the Trump administration and China may be furthering goals that Chinese President Xi Jinping has held for years.
两岸同胞一家亲，谁也无法隔断我们的血脉亲情，谁也不能阻挡祖国统一的历史大势。
Beijing views Taiwan as its territory and considers questions about the country an internal matter. Although it has not ruled out the use of force in taking Taiwan, it has so far taken a softer approach, using legal warfare, working to isolate Taiwan diplomatically, and slowly asserting military pressure.
Taiwan is continuing to see a surge in Chinese military activity around the island after an uptick on Tuesday.
Now, China may actually be leveraging trade talks with the U.S. to further isolate Taiwan. The Wall Street Journal report says Xi is planning to push U.S. President Donald Trump to adopt a tougher stance on Taiwan as part of its trade deal with the U.S. It says Xi plans to push Trump to say the U.S. opposes Taiwan independence, a break from previous phrasing saying it does not support it. With China and the U.S. imposing steep tariffs on each other, analysts question whether political concessions will be used to break the impasse.
The U.S. has a long-term policy of its Taiwan policy and also its One China policy. That is, the U.S. will not change its position on Taiwan's legal status and also do not push for any kinds of talks between the two sides of the cross strait. So I think that it is very little, there's very little chance that the U.S. will change any kinds of this symbolic move.
While it's unclear whether Trump could be swayed by Chinese pressure, Taiwan's foreign ministry says it's taking the matter seriously.
近日联大期间， 包括美日韩3一国的外长会议以及 G7 外长会议的联合声明，都再度重申支持维持台海和平与稳定，以及反对任何片面改变现状企图的立场。
All this comes amid a rocky stretch in U.S.-Taiwan relations. Earlier this month, the Trump administration reportedly delayed military aid to Taiwan, and in July denied President Lai Ching-te a U.S. transit in the country, forcing him to cancel a Latin America trip. These moves raising questions in Washington and Taipei over whether Trump is prioritizing deal-making over support for Taiwan.
也因为川普总统这种做法，更强化了中国很多学者他们的这种想法，他们觉得说川普应该是可以继续交易的。
Taiwan has faced pressure from China for decades, and with doubts growing about its relationship with its key backer, the U.S., its future looks increasingly uncertain. What is certain is that as Washington and Beijing work to resolve their trade impasse, Taiwan will be focused on the terms of that deal. Scott Huang and Ella Lu for TaiwanPlus.
Taiwan has nabbed 1 gold and 2 silvers at a major international badminton tournament in southern Taiwan. With nearly 300 players joining from around the world, TaiwanPlus went to the finals to find out who's coming out on top.
The crowd goes wild as Taiwan's badminton player Wang Bowei defeats his opponent Panachapporn Taratsukun of Thailand in 2 of 3 rounds at the 2025 Victor Kaohsiung Masters Finals. That win bagging Taiwan's first gold at the event.
The men's single champion from Chinese Taipei, Wang Bowei.
But reaching the top of the podium wasn't easy. It was a tightly fought game that left both players exhausted by the 3rd round. Wang says he pushed through, determined to win.
撑不住的时候，就听到他们的加油声，也会告诉自己要撑下去，就是不能辜负大家的期望跟加油。
Meanwhile, Taiwan's mixed doubles team Wu Sheni and Yang Chu-yun won silver after being defeated by their Japanese opponents Koga Akira and Imai Yuho. The duo previously won gold at the World University Games in Germany this summer. They say this game is pushing them to improve for future matches.
我觉得我有临场反应吧，就是有时候在比赛中遇到问题没办法解决，对，我要去改进。
Taiwan also picked up another silver medal in men's doubles, with Su Qingheng and Wu Guanshun rounding out the tournament's medal haul. The finals drew massive crowds, not just for the championship match, but also for a special highlight, the Red Bull Battle of Rackets 3-on-3 Showdown, a fun twist on traditional training. And a special appearance from Taiwan's badminton star Dai Ziying, who participated in a performance match, marking her first time back on court since knee surgery last year.
现在还是一样在复原的阶段，医生应该是建议我不要下来就是打，因为他怕我会不小心就是跑动范围太大，然后会伤到，所以医生有交代我只可以1步的距离，我刚好像有不小心超过了。今天其实看到蛮多人都还有留下来继续看球，其实很开心。
Dai recently made headlines after a year without playing in any tournaments, causing her world ranking points to reset to 0. But despite the setback, Badminton World Federation commentator Jill Clark called her the greatest women's singles player of all time. As Taiwan closes the Victor Kaohsiung Masters with 1 gold and 2 silvers, the real reward for the fans is more than the medal tally, as they lift athletes' spirits and get a rare treat seeing the queen of Taiwan badminton return to the court. Ryan Wu, Sandy Chi and Laurel Stewart for TaiwanPlus.
Thank you for watching What's Up Taiwan. Finally, check out these polar bears who've taken over an abandoned research station in Russia. I'm Yvonne Yang. Take care. I'll see you next time.